Hey everybody, it's Monday night. It's another episode of Always Bookin Comedy. This one's gonna be a awesome one. We got Tré Lamb in Salt Lake City, Utah. I just met Trey for the first time less than a week ago. We had a fallout. He's uh, swooped in. I'm excited to have him here. We've probably exchanged 30 words between each other, so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
barely know each other, so it's be exciting to get to know a fellow comic who's out there working hard and very funny. Really enjoyed watching your stuff.
Oh, thanks, Mark. I
I think
appreciate
my
it.
favorite. This won't mean anything to the audience, but you have a joke where you say the word "big shirt," and I think that was
Yeah.
probably my favorite. That was really good. Really
Oh,
good.
right on. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, great
Those
joke.
silly little tags are sometimes the ones that stick with people.
Yeah, yeah,
It's so
terrific.
fun, like when you're coming up with a bit too, and you can find those little moments. Like, it's hard to. I mean, sometimes, like at that Thursday show we did in Denver, you know,
In
when I
Vail,
was.
oh
Um,
yeah, Thursday was in Denver. You're right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when the room is just so good and the crowd is just right, you just feel so comfortable up there that sometimes it really, I felt so present too that like those moments are when you can like almost like see yourself on stage and you're like, "Oh, do this thing," right? And like that's
Nice.
sometimes those little tags or those little additions are like what makes the whole joke.
That's awesome. Yeah, so we did a 2 night run together. Real quick, we got a streamer in North Carolina. Hey, Mark, welcome, and he welcomes Trey.
Hello.
So we did a 2 night run, Wednesday, Thursday, with Kellen Erskine. Who, if you don't know Kellen, he is hilarious, so
Yeah.
funny, very clean. I first learned about Kellen in an Amazon Prime series called Inside Jokes, which was a documentary about comics trying to get into Just for Laughs. And so it was pretty exciting for me to be able to work with him for the first time. I'll ask you in a little bit what your history with Kellen is. But we did two shows. One was at a cocktail bar in Avon, Colorado, which is where Beaver Creek Ski Mountain is. And it was like a 60 seater, roughly, totally sold out. And then on Thursday, we did a theater show in Denver at the Bug Theater. Very cute. I guess you call that low high neighborhood, probably for folks in the Denver area. And 165 seater, totally sold out.
Yeah.
So two killer shows. So how did you end up on these shows? How long did you know you were going to be doing these shows? And
Well,
have you worked with Kellen before? And
yeah, I think I'm pretty much Kellen's like opener when
okay,
when the situation calls for it or when it makes sense to. But I first met him like I was in college in Santa Barbara. This would have been 2017 or 18, and I was doing comedy. I got on. I was part of the Ventura Harbor comedy competition, which was a competition they did at the Ventura Harbor Comedy Club, which I don't think is still there.
okay,
Um, but I was on this, and I had really no business, being on this thing. I just had gone to this club a bunch over the years for open mics and this and that. So happened to get on this show, and Kellen was also on it. So that was the first time we crossed paths.
he was competing.
Yeah. So he
Okay,
won. He won the whole
okay,
thing.
all right,
Spoiler, but
yeah,
there was a moment that really stuck out to me. I still bring it up. So on that competition, there's also this comedy duo, like a sketch comedy duo,
okay,
uh, who it was these two women. They went by Cheap Smokes was the name of their group, and what they were doing, their sketch for the show was to have one of them on stage uh, doing comedy for the first time, and then the other one was a plant in the crowd with like she was like a smaller woman, and she had like a big hat and glasses and maybe even a mustache, like just to look, and really on the nose. And that one was heckling the one on stage, and that was their act. It was like this
okay.
whole scripted thing. So they start doing it. The woman's on stage, and then the other one starts heckling, and the crowd didn't really get it. They didn't know that it was a bit.
Yeah.
And some people did. Some people were like kind of laughing. Some people were uncomfortable. And one woman in the crowd like got up in went in up to the woman, got in her face, the heckler, and was like, you know, who are you to tell her that this, and like, she's doing this, it's her first time, how dare you, you gotta let her, you know, all this stuff. Even smacked the hat off the woman's head, right? And so at that point, even the one on stage was like, okay, we're done, it's done, sorry, it was a bit, it's a thing, you know, please don't start a fight. And it was really awkward. And then the show went on after that. Other people went up. I was up after that, and I was just so green that I was just like, just do my jokes. I just did my jokes. Kellen went up. I think Kellen was like last or towards the end, and he was the only one who acknowledged what had happened.
Yeah.
And to me, that was like such an eye-opening thing. I was like, oh, like that's what you have to do. Like in that, that's what a comedian does. That's what a real pro does. And he even said, like, as he was up there, he's like, can we just take a minute to appreciate this woman here? He's like, I've been doing comedy for whatever, 15 years. I've never seen an audience stick up for the comedian. And the first time that I do, it's not even real. He's like, that's not fair to you. And I'm sorry, but you did the right thing, you know? And so I don't even think we spoke. But then it was, you know, years later when he would come to Salt Lake City that I made sure to be on those shows. And then from there, we just clicked. And since then, it's been probably about 3 or 4 years of working together. I do his clips. I do his social media. I film and edit, you know, all of his stuff. So, and then it just, so I, you know, which I tried to, which was intentional on my part. I wanted to be a full package for any headliners or, you know, someone to scoop me up and take me on the road. And so that's exactly what happened with Kellen. And so, yeah, it's probably a few times a year now, and it's starting to increase as he gets more popular. You know, he's he's doing international shows and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really cool to.
Are you going to go to Europe with him?
I'm not going to Europe
Okay.
this time around, but yeah, hopefully in the future.
Yeah, cool.
You know,
So let's rewind a little bit to. I assume you're talking about Wise Guys. Is that true?
in Salt Lake, yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you go back? So how did you get from Santa Barbara to Salt Lake, and how did you get into a position where you could get on a show with Kellen? So
Yeah. So I finished college in Santa Barbara, and I moved to LA after that because that was it's just what you do. That was a logical next step, right? And so I'm in LA. It's about 2018 or 19. I think it's 2018, and I was in LA until COVID struck, and then once that happened, you know,
doing
LA
comedy still, like hitting
oh yeah,
mics. And,
yeah. I mean,
what was that
yeah.
like? What did you think of LA comedy now that you've experienced other scenes?
I mean, it's brutal. You know, it's tough, it's hard, but there's a lot more there's just a lot happening, you know. What I do appreciate about the big cities like LA and New York, I imagine, is that you are surrounded by like-minded, hardworking people with the similar goals and aspirations as you. You know, when you get to smaller scenes, you can run out of those people pretty quick once you get to a certain point. And it's not even about like who's better, if you're better or not. It's just about like what you want out of comedy, right? That's kind of what I've noticed in like a scene like Salt Lake, where I'd say there's maybe 100 to 150 comics in the state, you know, and you know, of those, the percentage of people who are taking it seriously versus trying to make a career out of this versus, you know, like who's just hobbyist, all that, you know, comes into play. But I feel, looking back, I feel like I was way too green, way too young to be in LA.
Mm.
I was like 22, getting around, and I just also couldn't afford to live there. It's just, there is a bit of privilege to be able to live in those big cities too that I just didn't have and still don't. But um, and so and then just the living there is, it just kind of takes a toll on you as well. If you're not, I don't know, if that's not your vibe.
Right.
Versus like out here in Utah, it's a much slower pace of living and things like that, which is nice, but also can make you too comfortable, which will work against you as well.
Huh.
Um, so, however, I look back on all my friends who stayed in LA, and they're all moving up, working at the Comedy Store. Some of them
Okay.
are, they're door guys. So it's tough, looking back, um, but anyway, so I come out here during COVID just because it was still open basically,
Yeah.
and LA was shut down so hard that I just wanted to do comedy. So I got together with some other guys that I'd met in LA, and we decided on Utah. We're like, we're just gonna go there. It's not so far that we can't come back if we wanted to, and some guys did go back. Uh, and it just felt, it was fine. And so we came here, and it's been probably 5 years, um, and I just worked my way up with the club here. That's the benefit of a smaller scene is you just got to work one club. There's just one place
So
to
you would
get.
go to like the Wednesday night open mics?
Every Wednesday night open mic I was at, even if I wasn't, getting up. I was also just every weekend I would just go to the club and just sit there in the lounge by the bar. I would just sit there and just try to be seen by the owner, and or sometimes he would hang out in one of the booths with some of the other regulars, and I'd be sitting just like 10 feet away, just kind of like leaning towards, trying to maybe chime in, get a laugh, and then leave, stuff like that. But just being on the radar for like a solid year, and then started getting booked more regularly. I also had to, you know, make myself work clean out here too, just because it opens so many more opportunities, and so doing that is what got me the spot with Kellen. And I'm pretty sure I even told the owner that story about the comedy competition just to kind of hedge my bets a little, be like, hey, I kind of know this guy,
Yeah.
and and it worked. I mean, it couldn't have been better. So
That's awesome. So what's going on? Wise Guys, like there's so much going on with them. One, I heard at some point they were opening a club in Boise. They have opened a club in Las Vegas. I think one of the three in the Salt Lake metro area might be closed now. Catch me, I'm not really in the weeds on,
yeah, I
Wise Guys
mean,
gossip. What's going on with Wise Guys?
I think the owner is definitely, he's built an empire, and it's really cool to see. It's like the last like family owned, or it's like the most, it's like the biggest family owned club, I should say, not the last, but
Sure.
um, which is really cool that, like, it hasn't gone corporate. Um, but yeah, I mean, and he's always looking to expand. So I know Boise was in talks for a while. I think there was even going to be like a co-ownership thing between Wise Guys and another club, but then that just fell through.
Hmm.
Um, and then there's one club in Vegas. The Arts District one did close down like last year, I think, which
Okay.
was really sad to see that one go. That was like a 140, 150 seater,
Huh.
little brick building just by itself, like
Yeah.
really nice, really cool. They call it, like, comedians would call it the kill box, coming through town, just because it was so. Hey, there you go. Yeah, super accommodating. The original Vegas. So that was probably, yeah. The original one was probably the Arts District one, and I missed that one so much. Like, I would go. I got to feature there. I got to host. I got to headline that one.
Nice.
That was the one. Yeah. R.I.P.
So do you drive from Utah? How long a drive is that?
Yeah, it's like 5.5, 6 hours. Not too bad.
Okay.
So now there was for a short time they had Wise Guys in one of the casinos, but that didn't last very long. And then now it's just the town square mall Wise Guys, which is beautiful. I mean, it's like a 350 seater, and it's just they just renovated part of it. It's really really nice place, um,
Sweet.
and it's become like quite the spot for like local celebrities and like things like that. Like it's becoming known as like a place. Um, like Big J Oker or like Big J Okerson, when he goes there, he was just there last like a few months ago, and there was like these big concerts in town. So like a bunch of the bands also went to see
Mm.
him at Wise Guys. When David Tell was there, like people just kind of migrate. It's like a cool place for everyone to kind of meet up at. Which
Sweet.
yeah, and then
So can I ask a question about that? Because those two comics are not clean at all. So
totally
Wise Guys isn't headlining clean comedians all the time. Is that
no, you'd call it, they're an equal opportunity
okay? And how does
organization.
that impact the opening acts? The opening acts still have to work clean, or how does that?
No, I mean if the headliner's clean, then we will be told to be clean.
Okay.
It just varies by show and then also by club. Like Vegas, I mean, they'd have to be a clean comedian for them to ask you to be clean. But in Utah, like if you do the Ogden Club, uh, chances are it's going to be clean, just because it's both the people that they book there as also the demographic that goes there, like
Mhm.
that regularly goes to that club. So they've been in business for over 20 years, so they kind of have an idea of what works where. But as far like, but the downtown club, I mean, all bets are off too. It's just like whatever
Happens to
works for
be
the
there.
show,
Yeah, yeah.
which
Cool.
which has been super helpful for me to like learn how to be clean. And because when I started having to work clean, you start looking at your jokes, and I was like, oh, if I just don't swear, like this is
Yeah.
actually clean jokes. Like I just gotta just wash my mouth out a little bit. But so yeah, it's been super helpful.
Nice. How do you look at it? Like how long a set could you do that was, I don't know, PG-13 to R versus clean? Like, like if you worked a cruise ship, for example, they would say, you need X number of minutes clean, X number of minutes not clean.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I bet I've got about an hour clean, and then the rest. I mean, just more.
Okay.
um, but it's easier to write the dirty stuff, I find. Um,
Okay.
but sometimes it could be more rewarding for the cleaner stuff because you have to be more clever sometimes, or like you
Yeah.
can't rely on certain things. Um, so yeah, it's and then like having to do, I did a DryBar special down here as well. So like I work, working. I mean, that's as clean as it gets down in
Yeah.
Provo. It's like cleaner than TV, a lot of the time.
Sure.
So especially with today, um, and so that will really like rewire your rewire.
How long is that? 25 minutes that you tape and they put out 20, or how?
Mine was the one I did was 25. They kind of fluctuate. Sometimes I've heard they've gone back to 45-minute sets and then back to 25 here and
Huh.
there. So I think it
Yeah.
just depends on. They also, if you ask me, do way too many specials.
Yeah.
Like they pump out. I mean, they're taping like 3 or 4 a weekend during their
Yeah.
season. And it's like
Like the 3 or 4 shows, or you mean 3 or 4 comics?
3 or 4 comics taping
Yeah.
specials.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they get 2 shows to tape their special.
Okay. Huh.
So one night, so they'll do 2 shows on a Friday. That's 3 comics taping their specials, and then next night, Saturday, is 3 different comics taping
Huh.
their specials. So you've got
Is it
six
hard to
specials.
get tickets to that?
No, it depends on who it is, I guess. There's a couple of like the
Does the audience know ahead of time who is
yeah.
going
I
to be
mean,
taping?
DryBar will release the schedule. They'll
Okay.
have like upcoming like before each season. Like the big names like Kellen. He's gonna sell out pretty quickly every
Yeah.
time. Um, Jeff Allen is another big one who's going to sell out every time.
Huh.
Shane Smith is probably like DryBar's
I've
golden
seen him.
boy.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
The neck tattoos.
that doesn't stop there. His neck, face,
Oh, face. Yeah, yeah,
eyes, ears, mouth, and nose. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. Okay, I got a totally random question for you.
Yeah.
Sundance Film Festival is
Yeah.
moving from Park City, which is just outside of Salt Lake, to Boulder, Colorado, which is just outside of Denver, which is my home scene. Did you
Yeah.
ever do comedy in any way related to Sundance Film Festival?
No, I've done Park City, but not Sundance. I didn't even know
Okay.
they did stuff like that.
Well, it's just like it's a huge event with tons of people in town. So I kind of
Totally.
imagine there's an opportunity to put on a comedy show. And then the upside is, Paul Rudd's in a movie that's being screened and maybe he pops in and does a set. Maybe that's not the best example. I don't know if he does
Or
stand up.
even they
David
just go to
Spade.
watch. I mean,
Yeah.
like that's super cool. I think so. I don't know why they never did that here. I mean, Park City, they got such a. I mean, they really locked that place down
Yeah,
during
exactly.
Sundance. So
Yeah.
I guess it would be probably tough. But also, Park City's such a. It's so like small.
Yeah.
So like maybe
Maybe there
Boulder's a
wasn't
little.
venue space for it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that they were all rented out or being used for
Sure.
after parties or stuff like that. But hopefully, I mean, if Boulder's got just a little bit something a little bit outside of all the action, I think that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about filming stuff. So sounds like you're kind of like, I mean, you're the social media guy for a relatively famous comedian. Uh, Anything you want to share, but also specifically, like you brought a bunch of cool, fancy equipment with you. You want to just talk about what you have grown into over the
Yeah.
years and why?
Sure. I mean, yeah. It started when I think I was just hosting for a comedian, and his opener and I clicked. His name is Luis Alvarez. He's a Phoenix guy. I believe he's still there, but. And I was asking him because he was opening for Brian Callen, and I was asking Luis. I was like, basically, I was like, "How did you get this gig? Like, how do you like? What's happening here? How do you do this? I think I'm funny enough. Why can't I do this?" And he told me, he's like, "Plenty of guys think they're funny. You gotta be more valuable than that," which is what every aspiring comedian wants to hear. Um, and so he told me that he learned how to film and do all this stuff, and so I was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. So I got a camera. It shoots in 4K, um, and an audio. My audio setup is pretty basic. I just use the Rode wireless mics, which is pretty helpful because they're really versatile. I'll have one plugged into the soundboard of the club or the theater, and then I'll have one on stage. Soundboard picks up the mic audio, the stage one picks up the crowd, and then they just kind of blend together. So, and they're really easy to carry around. Like the task cam, it does the job of that task cam. Like you were saying, you have as well. That's
Sure.
just that big honking piece of machinery.
Yeah.
The Rode mics are much more compact and do the same thing. So it's just that you can also plug a lav into it to have the one under your shirt, just clip a mic to you and just have the box just in your pocket. Um, and so yeah, I just over time just found, okay, what do I need? I need this. I didn't do that. A lot of people make the mistake of like when they get into a new hobby or a new project, they'll just buy all the nicest stuff right away,
Right.
and then they'll sit around going, well, why aren't I doing it? Why isn't it working? It's like, oh, you just dropped like $1,500 on stuff that you don't know how to use. So I just got things as I needed them, right? Like, so I had a camera that shot in 1080p because that's all I could afford, and then eventually I was okay, upgrade to 4K because there's no way around that. And then same with the mics too. You just find I got it as I needed it, and now I'm at a point where I pretty much have everything I need.
So
But
what do
it's
you do with all the files? What's your like workflow?
I so pretty much like depending on what time it is when I get back to the hotel after a show, like I'll start uploading or that night, just dumping all the footage from the camera onto a hard drive, and then and then I just spend the day exporting, and then I'll send Kellen all of his footage, and then he'll tell me what parts he wants clipped up, and I clip them up. Um, and it's pretty seamless. I mean, we have, and then I'll do edits along the way. He's really good about like kind of he has the vision of how he wants his clips to look, which makes it easier for me. Um, and so so I just in the audio files, as long as I just try to handle it as soon as possible after the
Yeah.
gig, so that I'm not backed up sitting on stuff for too long.
Yeah.
I see a lot of editors or videographers like who struggle with getting the stuff back to the people. Like I got a buddy who's, I mean, months or even a year
Yeah.
it
It's
takes
so
him to.
stressful.
This
It's
is
so
all
ridiculous.
I
Like I,
hear about is people complaining about how long it takes their editors to get them their footage. I just don't understand. Like, it's not that it's not that hard. Like,
right. And if you're working as fast as you can and you're falling behind, you're never going to catch up. Like you have to find a way that for a single show, you can turn it around in less than a day. Because
sure,
otherwise, if you start getting booked enough, if you're booked 30 days in a row,
yeah,
what are you going to do?
yeah,
I get
totally,
so stressed when like whenever I finish a show that I'm running, there's like all kinds of accounting things, marketing things,
yeah,
there's media stuff. I almost always take photos and I got to like process them and go through this whole thing. And I want that over as quickly as possible.
yeah, exactly, yeah. I'm the same
Usually
way.
by noon the next day because I got the next project to deal with and I want to leave that and I don't want to have to think about that show ever again. I want
Yeah,
to be done. I want to get everybody paid. I want to and there's always not always, but sometimes there's some loose end that's out there and it
right,
drives me crazy. Cuz
yeah,
frankly, I can't juggle all this stuff. Like I got
sure,
10 shows in the future I'm trying to figure out.
right, yeah, yeah. Trying
I
to
got to
sell
leave I
tickets
got to
and
leave that behind me.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. I'm the same way. Just like get it out of my hands. Balls in your court, like, and also, it in a way it helps that I'm just so broke that I can't afford not to. like
Right.
I got to get on this footage because I need to get paid for
Yeah,
it. So
totally.
that the fear of financial instability will really kick my butt into gear.
Yeah. So we only have a couple more minutes, unfortunately. This is a great conversation. I want to ask you about different markets you've been to, like if you travel much other than with Kellen, et cetera, and then
Yeah.
like where people can find you and how to, give you a chance to promote yourself.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I'm mainly bouncing around Salt Lake. I will be in LA next month for a little bit.
Okay.
Um,
Is that the
I
first time you've been back since pre-pandemic, or do you go
no,
back
I,
often?
I've gone back once
Okay.
before, and I just never really been in a rush to get back there. I figured like just I'll build myself up, and then because I don't want to go back just to be paying $5 to do open mics again. Like,
Right.
so and by now I know enough people that I can at least get a bunch of lies about spots I can do. Um, but no, I mean there's I can get arrange some stuff here and there. So um,
What
besides that,
about what about outside of Salt Lake? Do you ever like, I don't know, book a gig that's like a 90-minute drive or somewhere in nowhere Utah?
I mean I've done so. Well, that's kind of the thing about Utah is Wise Guys is kind of it.
Okay.
They and that's not by accident either.
Okay.
And so. But I'll go up to Boise. I'll do Wyoming. Idaho Falls is just a few hours, or Evanston, Wyoming is just a couple hours.
Okay.
I've done some of those like smaller bar shows here and there.
Okay.
Vegas as well, but mainly at the club. Um, and yeah, just always looking to get out more and to get on the road myself too.
Yeah. Okay, let's start landing the plane. How do people find Tré Lamb?
Instagram, Tré J Lamb,
Why don't you
YouTube.
spell that out?
Oh yeah, TREJLAMB, Tré J Lamb,
Nice.
where you can find me, or I believe on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, it's just Tré Lamb, regular, no J. Uh, and I'm putting out clips all the time. I do sketches as well regularly, weekly, and a podcast as well.
Nice.
So you can find all of that there.
What's the podcast called?
Called Home Bowl.
Home Bowl.
Yeah,
BOWL?
correct.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
A note for you, and we'll talk about it once we get off air. I run Film at Vale Comedy Festival, going into its third year, and we will be looking for sketches, which in the film industry are shorts.
sure.
And I'll have a little trick for you off air. But everybody, check
Cool.
out Film at Vale Comedy Festival, and maybe next year you'll see one of Trey's sketches.
Hey, right on.
Trey, this was really fun. This is a really good
Yeah,
episode.
thanks for having me, Mark.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. I didn't get to this guy, Diggs, but what's up, Diggs?
What's up, Diggs?
And